How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to show you what it's like to drive the all-new Mercedes-Maybach SL680 from a first-person point of view. Under the hood is a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 making 577 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 9-speed multi-clutch transmission. 0 to 60 happens in 4 seconds flat. But this car is all about luxury and less about speed. The Maybach SL680 is an entirely new beast for Mercedes, and it takes a different approach from Maybachs of the past that were a little bit more understated than their Bentley or Rolls-Royce counterparts. As you can see, Mercedes is very proud of the fact that this is a Maybach with insignias absolutely everywhere. So it's essentially based on the SL63 platform, but we've got a revised front fascia, suspension, engine tuning, etc. As you can see, the lower fascia is covered in Maybach insignias. Got the nice vertical grille. Actually, if we take a look at the headlight, you'll see there's a little Maybach insignia right there on the headlight. There are hundreds of insignias on the hood. The hood actually slopes in a very cool way that when you're driving the vehicle, it has this bulge to it that kind of reminds me of a Rolls-Royce where you can almost barely see the Mercedes logo. But there is something really nice about this, and that is you don't have to option it like this if you don't want to. I'd prefer a slightly more understated look. You can do black on black, and in fact, the hood with all the monograms is the only option on this car. So it starts at $225,000. This hood is $6,500. But you can do one without all the logos, which is probably what I would go for. Even these massive monoblock wheels are a no-cost option. More manufacturers need to start doing that. These things actually look pretty insane. We've got the Maybach insignia right there. On the side strafe, we also have Maybach written here, and as you can see, on the entire soft top, we'll raise that later on. One of the smallest and most difficult to find Maybach logos was actually in the taillights. If we go right here, you can see there's a little one right there. I also really like what they've done with the key to differentiate it from other Mercedes models. It's actually rose gold and white to match the interior, as well as, I recently noticed, this portion of the headlight right here is in rose gold, which matches the key and is pretty cool. Hopping inside of the SL680 reveals the whitest, most luxurious 2-door cabriolet interior I have ever seen. The fit and finish and the mix of materials is actually awesome. And we have some funny hidden logos. Like, check this out. If you pull the seat back, you have a hidden Maybach logo that you'd never see unless you put stuff in the rear. So in place of 2 rear seats like in the SL, we have this nice storage compartment, quilted leather, and we've got the Burmester speaker system there as well. And then get a load of this. This is a feature they need to have on many more cars. We've got the window controls for the rear windows and the front windows, but there's a button to put all of the windows up and down, which I love. Seat controls on the door itself, which is fantastic as well. Once the car is fired on, you'll see that there are actually Maybach-specific graphics for the dash that are different than the SL platform. If we go ahead and click this home button here, you can switch between different view layouts for the instrument cluster. So we've got sport mode as a BMW Blast Spy, sport mode right there. Click the home button again. We've got the Maybach controls, classic, navigation, etc. I actually really like the way the Maybach looks. Nice leather-wrapped steering wheel with kind of a polished finish around the edge. Steering wheel actually feels great in your hands. 9-speed multi-clutch transmission with paddles mounted behind the steering wheel. To switch it into drive, we've got a lever right here. Now coming over to the display, they've done something pretty cool with the display, similar to the SL, where you can actually change the angle of the display itself in order to eliminate glare if you're out in the sun and the roof is down. Now, speaking of the roof going up and down, we've got hard controls here, which is really nice. Operates up to 37 miles an hour. Also happens pretty darn quickly. The top drops right there. And now you're exposed to the gorgeous open elements. Let's close it so we can actually see what's going on in the interior. If we go to the home screen here, we've got a multitude of options to choose from. Let's go ahead and go to Info. We've actually got a pretty cool display here. If we go to Engine, you can see the live readout of the horsepower and torque. If we go back to Vehicle, you can see how the power is split between the front and rear axle, the accelerator level, and the brake, which is pretty awesome. Climate controls down here. If you click this, brings up some information about the car. You can turn on and off the heads-up display. You got a storage compartment right here, storage compartment right here as well. So if we open the glove box and pull out the window sticker, you can see the car starts at $224,900, and it actually only has one option, the $6,500 Mercedes-Maybach pattern on the hood, which personally, I'm not a huge fan of all of the insignias, so you can save $6,500 and basically stick to that base price. If we go into the comfort controls, we have 3 different massage seat activations. You can also do, hey Mercedes, turn on the driver massaging seat.
Driver seat massage is switched on.
There we go. Then you've got a multitude of seat controls right here that are pretty easy to understand. We also have a crazy amount of ambient lighting. Obviously it's daytime right now, but the ambient lighting goes in more places throughout the interior than I've ever seen before in a Mercedes. And you guys know Mercedes is known for epic ambient lighting, and this takes things up a notch. All right, let's take it out for a spin and see what it's like to drive. All right, behind the wheel of the Maybach now, and we are with Eddie.
Surprise!
Who's joining us for the review. We'll go ahead and put it into drive using that shifter there. Let's go ahead and put it into the Comfort Diamond mode, because
Maybach
why not?
mode. You know, usually when I'm in a Maybach, I prefer to be driven in the back seat.
Yeah, it's not an option.
But I can't do that today. Very sad.
This is a very interesting car, and it took me and Eddie a while of thinking through
Deliberating.
what is it? Because it's significantly cheaper than a Bentley Continental GT or a Rolls-Royce Spectre, but it's obviously not exactly cheap at $230,000+. And because it's based on the SL680, it doesn't ride like a cloud. It's not as soft as you'd expect a Maybach to be. And apparently this is the sportiest Maybach they've ever made, which is readily apparent with the suspension. It's more comfortable than the SL680, but I feel like it leans more towards that chassis than it does like the S680 Maybach.
Yeah, or like the old S-Class coupe.
Exactly.
Right, that kind of experience.
But if you put it into sport mode, you actually can have a decent amount of fun in the canyons. Obviously, it's large and it's heavy, but it has plenty of power, and it has this hydraulic self-leveling suspension to counteract any of the body roll that works pretty effectively well. Let's go ahead and put it into sport mode right now. The responsiveness of the paddles is fantastic as well. You don't have quite the urgency with the throttle response of the SL680, but if you do put it into sport mode, I mean, this thing is definitely athletic enough to have some fun in the canyons. So my take on the car is it's essentially like a Bentley Continental GT, but you save a bit on money, and you do have some pretty cool creature comforts and tech. The ambient lighting is really cool. Initially, when I thought that you could only get it in red with the black monograms, and there's another color combo which is white with the black, I wasn't in love with the car because it's just a little bit too showy and too many logos for me. But then we spec'd one out in this cool manufacturer satin blue with none of the logos. The hood was body color, different wheel styles, and it actually looked really, really classy. And I started to like the vehicle quite a bit more. But it's easy to drive, it's comfortable. What are your thoughts on it so far?
I agree with what you're saying. It's like niche within niche, right?
Yeah.
It's a very, very unique vehicle, and it's pushing the Maybach brand into a different direction. Honestly, like when the GLS came out, that's like, wait, that's not what Maybachs have been. They're supposed to be big, long limos, and now it bounces. But like, it's a pretty awesome luxury SUV, and now they're trying to apply the sporty thing. And there's other vehicles kind of in this space. You mentioned the Bentley, but for me, the Aston Martin DB12 kind of comes to mind too, because that's also sporty, but not quite as aggressive as a Vantage or a Vanquish, obviously, right? And it's got some of the luxury, it's twin turbo V under the hood, but there's these options in this space, and ultimately, yeah, it's really unique, and I agree. Initially, I was like, what exactly is this vehicle? Like, who is it for? Because to my mind, Maybachs are to be driven in. You like the pillows and the headrest, right? The fancy massage seats and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's definitely interesting.
It's a super unique vehicle. The odds that you see another person driving one of these on the road is very, very low.
Yes.
Now, there's no data on production numbers or how limited it is or isn't, but just from driving around LA, where In nicer areas of the outer Los Angeles area, you pretty much get to see all the newest stuff hit the road in massive quantities. So I see Spectres all the time. I see Continental GTs all the time. I've only seen one of these. Now, it is the first production year, so it's possible we'll see more. But it has gotten a ridiculous amount of attention when we're driving it on the road. People are kind of confused what it is, and regardless, if you don't know, it definitely looks expensive.
It's either the sportiest luxury Maybach or the most luxurious sports car.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a couple, like, just engine notes in the lower RPM range that had this growl to it. And for a second, I almost felt like I was in the SLS. Now, obviously, the SLS is stiffer, more capable on the track, and a different type of vehicle entirely. But the really long hood is similar in the SLS, that similar V8 growl, and kind of this presence that's almost hard to explain. Now, this is one of the worst road sections I have ever seen.
Like
they
it
have
is
not.
It's pretty much plowed. Like, what in the world?
But it did handle those bumps very nicely.
But you can feel how much firmer the dampers are in sport,
mode.
Now.
Absolutely, yeah. So let's go ahead and put it
Maybach
into Maybach
Sea
mode.
Diamond.
I like the little diamond.
I like the number of Maybach logos here too, even like the model showing
so
up.
that's the thing. Do we count the total Maybach logos on the car or digital as well?
That's over 1,000.
We're at 835 actual logos, and then if you count the screens, I mean, we've got to be pushing over 1,000.
Yeah, because you can also have the Maybach mode into cluster, which is all little Maybach logos all over too.
So I think we've got to try a little launch, and then we will switch drivers and let you go for a little rip in this car.
You know, I will give it to them. This is the one Maybach where I would want to be in the driver's seat. You know,
absolutely.
When you have like an S-Class or a GLS, like I had my friend drive me. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to sit in the back seat. You chauffeur me.
Really nice 3D backup camera, which is pretty cool.
And you can see the logos on the virtual model.
This is actually probably the easiest way to count all the logos. I wonder how accurate it is.
I need a magnifying glass too.
Yeah.
So technically, if you count that, we're at like over 1,600.
We can zoom in.
The nighttime like ambient lighting experience is really cool
It is. It's
like a nightclub.
I wish that that it was a little bit darker.
Yeah, you can see
want
a
to
little
bring up
bit of
the
glow.
ambient lighting on the display? I think click the home button.
Home
button. Go over to
So one thing is
comfort.
like Mercedes-Benz UX is all these systems are complex now, right? So we use the voice assistant pretty often, and I think it's really cool that me sitting in the passenger seat, when I say, "Hey, M word, turn on my massage seats," it knew to turn my massage seats on, and not Parker's.
That was really cool.
And even though it did it in the GLS Maybach, I was sitting in the back. It turned on mine and not the driver's, so it knows. Yeah, we've got all the different ambient lighting pulled up.
And we also noticed that with a lot of Mercedes, the newer ones, when you turn the climate control down, some of the ambient lighting turns blue, and when you turn it up, it turns red. But this did it in a multitude of places, even the footwell.
Yeah.
And it's got really complex ambient lighting, even for Mercedes standards.
Yes. Can I share a complaint?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
It doesn't have soft closed doors.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Which I think is a very strange omission for a vehicle like this.
I wasn't sure if that's convertible related or not.
I would imagine not, because it's just a latch, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just in my mind, when I get in a high-end luxury car, I mean, it's the peak laziness, right? But it's nice to not slam a door. And I mean, the sedans now, you have like the gesture door, auto power doors, like all the fancy stuff now. So I thought that was a strange omission.
Well, I didn't mean to take this car on this
is the worst road, Parker.
I have been on this road and reviewed probably 1,000+ cars on this road, and it's so classic that the one time I take Eddie on this road,
dude,
I don't even know what they've done to it. They've
is gravel,
thrown rocks all over it.
There are random metal plates like that just got cut up, and like
I don't love that.
You're putting the Maybach through its paces.
But now that we're in comfort or Maybach Diamond mode, it does ride over those bumps better.
100%. Definitely better. Yeah, like the details are really nice. All the white leather, although I feel so incredibly guilty because we've been filming up in the mountains, right? These floor mats are no longer white. Because like
they did. I don't know if you saw when it was dropped off. They did a great job cleaning it, but there's only so much you can do.
Exactly, right.
But this is a press car with 4,500 miles on it. When people test these cars, they often put it through the paces a lot more than the average consumer would, especially in a car like this.
Yeah.
So for the interior to hold up actually this well, particularly the floor mats, and remember, you hope that most of these people are treating it like their own vehicle, but some people are like, well, it's not mine, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And the floor mats were still relatively white when they fully cleaned it. And the seats don't look like they've
There's no staining or
dye
transfer
from jeans or anything
dude, that's
like
a big scary thing. Like if you were blue jeans, right? You get the denim,
100%.
the color transfer.
But it actually doesn't really seem like it's been an issue in this car. Let's go ahead and do a little launch control, and then Eddie can drive it. 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. This is the most luxurious launch control ever. There's like a rich acceleration. You get wealthier as the miles per hour increase.
That was very un-Maybach-like behavior.
I know. I wonder how amazing of drifts and burnouts it can do.
Imagine tracking this thing.
That would be a fun video. Tracking a Maybach SL680 with the top down.
I mean, the ingredients are very related to the SL63, and it would be good. The SL63 is a high. They made it real sporty.
All right, Eddie behind the wheel of the Maybach.
Chauffeur experience, but not the same. Remember when you used to make me drive you around in the S-Class? I didn't mind. Years and years ago in the S550.
That was good. That was good. I should have gotten you a top hat.
Oh my gosh, a little tuxedo.
Jeez. I will say this is nice from the passenger's perspective.
Yeah. It is pretty insulated and quiet as a convertible, which is always going to be a challenge, right?
Absolutely.
Especially cloth top, not a hard top. They do like all the different layers to try to keep it as isolated as possible. You know what this is? This is now truly a GT car.
Yeah.
It fits that. Like, imagine doing a road trip across the country in this thing.
That's true. That would be good.
You have power when you want it. You've got comfort. You've got all the tech, luxury, nice massage seats.
They do need a little bit more trunk space, though.
That is also true.
If you wanted to go across the country with 2 big bags.
Yes.
There is a fair amount of space behind the seats. You'd have to use soft shell bags that are kind of malleable.
Do not want to damage your leather. Even in sport mode, it feels like there's a little bit of hesitation in like inputs, right? That's the whole Maybach treatment. It's not going to be as snarly, angry as an AMG.
But still in a predictable way. I feel like it doesn't lag in a way that makes it disconcerting. It just is a little bit more.
But you know, like when you're in a Rolls Royce and you floor it, it's like just that bare moment of hesitation. Like, are you sure? And
yeah,
then,
okay,
here's the power,
sure,
right?
sir?
Yeah, just to smooth things out. You can see some of that ambient lighting,
It looks nice.
In the shadows here. I mean, yeah, it's a nice cabin. It's just a different facet of Maybach experience with 8 million Maybach logos sprinkled on top.
If you're interested in buying one of these, I would say definitely drive it first at the dealership and see if you. It really is kind of its own car. I don't know if I've driven another car that drives and behaves exactly like this one. It seems like it's in its own category.
Yeah, it doesn't come. There's nothing. I mean, from a pure technical standpoint, 2-door, 2-seat convertible, luxury leaning. What else is there?
I mean, there's other options, but just in the way that it.
But like, yeah, the
that
intent
it puts
of
everything together is interesting. And if you want the really flashiness, basically you're able to get something that gets as much attention as a Rolls Royce if you have all the logos on it, and if that's what you want. And if you want the opposite of that, you can black out the whole thing and kind of fly much more under the radar.
I mean, honestly, without that $65 hood, it's still a lot, but it's okay. I can live with it.
And I do like the chrome accents throughout. It does make it feel more high-end, and I feel like there was so much chrome in the olden days with cars, and we've lost that almost entirely.
Yeah.
People hate chrome now for some reason, but I really like it. On the A-pillars are chrome, the wheels are, it's like done in a tasteful way, the level of chrome.
And it matches for a car of this status,
100%.
right?
And I love these like airplane turbine style air vents.
With lighting in there.
Yeah.
You can change the angle of the screen, which is actually handy when you have the top down and there's glare. So that's nifty. And, here's something that I really, really like. You have an actual toggle right there for the convertible top. Because the SL, you have to like use the touchscreen. And
you can drop the top. Let's do it actually, because we're going below 37 miles an hour, which is pretty nice. I mean, somewhat industry standard, 37 miles an hour. I imagine a lot of it has to do with how much wind is blowing against
when it's all the way up,
exactly.
Right? Yeah, it's like a giant air brake.
The mechanisms, but it goes down really fast.
And then...
I mean, we're pretty isolated from the wind in terms of convertibles.
Yeah.
Usually, when I drive a convertible, I keep the top up so that the audio is better for the video. But I feel like that probably made no difference at all from an audio perspective.
With the windows up, there is a little like wind deflector in the back. You can see that right there.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I do like the two-tone
I really like the steering wheel.
It's kind of cool.
It is really nice.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Eddie, enjoying driving it?
Yeah, I've got substitute Parker hands right now.
Exactly. All right, guys. Look forward to seeing you next video.